Okay, we left off on Mem Chesed and Aleph. The Gemara cited in Machlokes a case where a woman says to a man, "Make me bracelets, earrings, nose rings, and I'll agree to marry you." Okay? So the jeweler, after he makes this jewelry, he gives it to this woman. Rameir says, Mukudesha, she's married. Even though the gold, the material that she had given him was her material. So it's only his craftsmanship in the material. So Rameir says, Mukudeshes. Chomam re'ina Mukudeshes. Achi agir momen liyoda. He has to give the money. If he doesn't give her other money, she's what? She's not married. Hi momen hechidomi. The money was speaking until he gives the money. What is ilema osa momen mechlal? Are we speaking about the money that she owes him? It's not possible. El b'mai bo mekacho. El lav momen acher. We're not speaking about the money he's giving the money, but rather we're speaking he's marrying her with the money that she owes him for his what? For his work. The fee that he's charging her. So Rameir is of the opinion that she's Mukudeshes. When he marries her, he's not charging her, he's relieving her of the debt. And the Chum say no, ain't Mukudeshes. Mekadosh Milva ain't Mukudeshes. So we see Rav's position is Machlokes Tanoim. Now the Gemara says, V'sabrit kuli almo, yeshno l'schirus mitchila vatsof. Therefore, Vavi Milva. Even a person who takes something as a craftsman, he's commissioned, he's not an employee. Everybody agrees that if a man's working for me and I pay him per hour, that means every moment he works, he's what? No. Every moment, what? No. I owe him for every moment. Right? I owe him for every moment. Wait. So if that's the case, so when I pay him at the end, what am I paying? I pay him at the end of the day for his wage, right? So I'm paying him what I owe him. No, I owe him. I'm paying what I owe him. When you go and you commission something to be done, now he completes what he completes. When do you owe him the money? When it's completed and it's retroactive, right? Or we say no, the debt doesn't come about until the finished product is given over. You follow me? So that means until it's given over, the debt doesn't exist. There's no debt. The other case is when you give it retroactively, since you've completed what you were asked to do, retroactively from the moment you started to work, the debt was accumulating. No, we'll see. No. We'll see. There's a difference. No. Yeah, you mean if he never finishes the job, then he gets nothing. It's contingent if you finish the job. Wait a second. We'll discuss that. So right now we're saying now, everybody agrees that when you worked continuously, the debt was accumulating, and when you deliver, that's when you have a right to collect. You don't deliver, then you don't collect. But when you deliver retroactively, every moment you were engaging with the goal to develop it to what the client asked for was the accumulation of debt. But it's contingent. You have to deliver. You have to finish the product because that's what you commissioned for. That's yesh l'schiris mitchil vatsof, from the beginning till the end. So if that's the case, so when he returns the jewelry, he gives the finished product to the woman. So what is Rameir says Mukudeshes? That means he's marrying with the money that she owes him. Chum say ain't Mukudeshes because that's Mekadosh b'milva. But we explain clearly. Everybody agrees, even Rameir. It's not possible to say you can marry her with a debt because you're giving her nothing, because you're only relieving her. So we said that although he doesn't verbalize, I'm marrying you with the cancellation of the debt, with the benefit, it's the equivalent of saying that. Although he didn't verbalize that. So Rameir says, even though he didn't verbalize it, she understands that, and therefore he is actually giving her something of value. Chum say no. Her mindset is, what is he marrying with? The money that she owes him. The money she owes him, she's what he's not giving it to her. He's just relieving her. That's not something he's giving. So unless you verbalize it, she's not married. That's the machlokas Rameir and the Chachamim. Doesn't make a difference. Doesn't make a difference. It's her right now we're going, the object's her object. That's going to be the next possible argument. Meaning, that's called yesh shvach umen bekli. That's his input. So she gave him the gold. Now he's giving back her product. He's a partner in that. So the enhancement of the gold, that's something he's giving her. And that's tangible. That's a tangible. Says that he's giving her something. That's the machlokas. Do we say that's his, or that's hers, and she owes him for what he had done? Mm. Good.
It's called the percentage of completion method. So I give you an ingot of gold to make the jewelry, but my transaction is structured on percentage of completion. Then for me, who's doing the work, I have no ownership in the object, and as I do my work, I register a receivable from you. Therefore, you have a debt to me, or a payable to me. And now we're coming to this question that when he gives it back to her, it's the relief of that debt. Or she forgives it.
Good.
So we get to this.
Yes. Good. Good. Good.
The other method is not percentage of completion. It's the ingot is yours, but everything else is mine. And on my balance sheet, as I do the work and I've invested in this object, I now have ownership in that object.
See, what would you? That's the second. Good. 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 But the first is what the Gemara is saying. The second is, which the Gemara will say. These two methods, you're combining two things which the Gemara says. But the Gemara says they're independent of the other.
And the thing in the United States today, big military contracts where they're building things that take a very, very long time. Massive systems.
Because they need funding. Because they need, otherwise they couldn't do it.
Percentage of completion.
Makes sense.
Okay, and so therefore this question comes up. But when it's an object that doesn't take a long time to, and people carry the inventory, so.
But the Gemara is going to explain afterwards. Even if that's the case, your creativity in an object, is that considered your interest in the object? Interest is only if actually it's a material interest. Like, it's like, we talk about intellectual property. Who does it belong to? It's something similar. It's my creativity in your gold. Is that the improvement? Is the improvement, do we deal with that as ownership? Is that ownership? Or that's, you've enhanced the other person's gold, so the person has a debt to you because you're benefiting from something he had done. You understand? You owe him because you're benefiting. The Gemara speaks about a case. What happens if I go, you didn't hire me to plant plant your field. And it's a field which is meant to grow wheat there. The person goes and plows and sows wheat without permission. Does the owner of the field have to pay him as a person who's commissioned to sow wheat? It's a discussion with above Mitzvah. Smar says yes. Why? That since the owner wants the field to be planted, and he would plant it wheat, it's meant to be planted wheat, even though we didn't hire him, but factually, he had. I'm going to explain it. No. So therefore, factually, that's it's more than benefit. He has to pay him the wage that you normally would pay a person who plants wheat. Let's say you normally grow wheat and he grows barley, and barley is less than wheat. He wouldn't have planted the wheat. He wouldn't have planted the barley. He has to pay him for the benefit of the barley, not the going wage that you pay a person for planting barley. Because I never wanted to pay. I never wanted the field. That's benefit.
If the wheat is agnostic as to who plants it.
Because
He wanted to plant
Exactly. He would have employed a person to plant wheat. So whatever the going wage to pay an employee to plant wheat, he has to pay that wage. Barley, he would never pay an employee. But factually, you're benefiting. You're benefiting from his labor. So whatever the least amount of cost for that, that's what he has to pay. Because that's benefit. It's like similar to we discussed. An animal is mazik b'shus harabim, right? But let's say he goes and he eats a bushel, a person leaves a bushel of Holland peppers, and now the animal eats it. So as mazik, he's not liable, the owner of the animal. But if now that he ate the bushel of peppers, he doesn't have to feed a bale of hay. So he has to compensate the owner of the peppers for the value of bale of hay, because that's the degree that he benefited. Right? But not the value of the peppers. Peppers, that's mazik. You're a damager. It's not as damager. You benefited from his asset. To what degree did you benefit? Whatever the cost of bale of hay would be. Similarly over here with the barley. I had no interest in planting it as barley. But actually, you benefited from the barley. So whatever the benefit of barley is, I don't have to pay the wage of a person who would plant barley. Okay? So therefore, it's similar. It's similar. The gold, wait. The gold, you've enhanced my gold. So I owe you, not that you have ownership in my gold. Although it's your creativity, I owe you because that's the degree of benefit. It's like you've enhanced my gold. It's like you planted my field. It's not you become my partner in the field. It's my field. So the wheat growing on the field, it's what? It's an enhancement. You're not a partner. The weed is the weed of the field of the one who owns. So that's the question. By the gold, so that's going to be a discussion on the second side of the page. When you enhance the gold, are you a partner? And the enhancement, no, the enhancement is yours. It's only the gold. That's the materials is the owner's. So let's say the gold was worth $100, and the enhancement is worth $500. So it's a partnership. The craftsman, the jeweler, has a $500 interest, and the original owner only has a $100 interest in the piece of jewelry. Yeah, it's going to be an argument in the Gemara.
So, for example, General Motors wants to make a certain part for their fleet, and so they outsource it. They ask other companies to make this thing, and then they've realized they've got hundreds of suppliers. They've realized that if they were to buy the steel, if General Motors was to buy the steel, as opposed to waiting for these little suppliers to buy the steel, the volume is such that they could get a much better deal on the steel. So General Motors would buy the steel, ship it to their suppliers. Now that guy makes it and then ships it back to General Motors. So now the question is, what's the status of the finished product that the guy sends to General Motors? General Motors steel.
But you can differentiate. You can differentiate because I would say when General Motors is buying the steel in volume to get a better price. But when you give it to the manufacturer, you said to the manufacturer, it's your steel. I understand. You could say, when you transfer it to the manufacturer, it's his steel, because they're not interested in owning the metal. We want the finished product. It's yours. And you're going to return to us the finished product.
That's not the way it's structured.
It's structured that the material, meaning, so if there's any left over, they have to return to General Motors. Okay?
It's their ownership. It's exactly the same story.
Yeah. Okay.
But in this case, she's giving this piece of gold to him. Take this piece of gold, make it into
A bracelet?
and marry
No, wait, no. And then if you give it back to me, you can marry me with the bracelet. That's what she says. I will be agreeable to be married to you when you return the bracelet to me, the finished product of the bracelet.
Right. So is the transfer of that gold initially, did they give it to him?
No, it's her gold.
So it's her gold.
It's her gold.
Not his at all.
Not it is, of course not.
So this means that implicitly annulled. She's giving it to the state to do something, but she's benefiting from the fact that he converted that ring.
No, that's our discussion now. What is he marrying with? If, let's say, he has no interest in it, it's all hers. So he's marrying her with the fee that she owes him. Normally, for this jeweler, it costs, let's say, $100 labor. So I'm marrying you with the cost of that labor. So, but if you owed it to me, right? So what am I? I'm marrying you with a milveh. Mekadosh milveh and mekudeshes. But Rameir says Mukudeshes. So why is it Mukudeshes? Evidently, because although he didn't say Hanos Mechilas Milveh, that is the equivalent of saying Hanos Mechilas Milveh, although he didn't verbalize it. Okay, 1 second. So my labo, Kamifli, Marsav Bimkarish Mil Mukudesh, Marsav Ein Mukudeshes. Milo. The Kule Alma Bimil Vein Mukudeshes. Everybody agrees, unless you actually articulate, I'm marrying you with the benefit of waiving the loan, even Rameir agrees, Ein Mukudeshes. Because that's Makarish Bimilveh. Hocho, we'll discuss now, it's not so simple. The Yeshno L'Schiris Mitchilavat Sofus Kamifli. They're arguing, when you finally give the finished product, the jewelry, now, because you've met the order, do we say now, retroactively, the debt has accumulated, but the debt was as long as he was improving it, it was an accumulation of debt. So now when he says, I'm marrying you with debt, that's Yeshnon L'Schiris M'tchil V'Atzof. Mar Sovar Ein L'Schiris Ela B'Sof. Wait, no, it doesn't exist. No, at the time he gives it back, we'll see in a moment. Ein L'Schiris Ela B'Sof. Because there's an obvious question. Let's say the debt happens at the last moment. Let's say when I return it to you. So when is the financial obligation come? When she takes the bracelet. But at that moment, so what? It's still a debt. He's still relieving her of a debt. Wait, so that's what Rashi addresses over here. Rashi says something here. That's the difficulty. All along, when it accumulates, we say that's definitely Mekadosh Milveh. But what does Rameir say? It's because when does the debt come about? When he gives her the bracelet. Right? Right? So Rashi says, "En l'schir sel b'sof, kishemerzirin lo harei l'shem kiddushin hu, mochlo etzlo." Yeah. So he's mochelator. He's waiving it. Ve'en kan milveh kshemerzirin lo. Therefore, it's not considered a milveh. No, so I think because it's simultaneous. It's simultaneous. So I think this is it. Meaning like this. If you say the debt has accumulated continuously, so returning the object this moment, it's not quantified in the moment of the pleasure. It's hano. The hano of the debt being waived. Whatever that's worth. So normally you say, unless you articulate, verbalize, I'm marrying you with the pleasure you have from waiving the debt, ein mukudeshes. Because her mind, you're giving me $1,000 each. He didn't give her $1,000. And the benefit of waiving the debt is not $1,000. But if you would say Hanos Mechilas Milveh, she'd be Mukadeshes. So if the debt would accumulates from the first moment, he says, here's the bracelet, I'm marrying you, and I'm relieving you of the debt that you owe me, all the money you owe me. So we say, what is the reality of that? Relieving you from the first moment to this moment of whatever the fee was, $100. That's Mekadosh Milveh. But let's say it's at the last moment. So that means what I owe you at this moment because of what you've done for me at this moment, I'm relieving you. So therefore, that we see, although it wasn't articulate, verbalized, it's the equivalent of saying, I'm marrying you with waiving of the debt. So the benefit of now waiving the debt, you understand? It's like saying, I'll give you this item. I'm not going to charge you for it. So over there, when you say to them, I'm not going to charge you, she doesn't think in terms of the value. It's the benefit. I'm not charging you. I'm marrying you with. I'm not charging you. But of course, so it's like the benefit.
She had $100 in her pocket. She still has $100 in her pocket.
No,
That's exactly the same as what we.
he's not. No, he's not married. He's not married with $100 in her pocket. But that's he's relieving her.
Pay him $100.
But he's marrying her with Hanos Mechilas Milveh. They're both the same. The reality is the same. It's only how the woman processes the two situations. If it's something of the past, you're relieving me something of the past. Here it's something I'm giving you now. Now something's happened, and I'm relieving you at this moment. A person processes that differently than something which has been like an old debt. One is an old debt, one is something which at this moment came about.
It seems that this is the percentage of completion already
No, 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 no. No, 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 no. What he's giving her is fully hers. The object is hers.
It cannot be hers.
Why can't it be hers?
Because she gave him a raw square ingot, and
I
he
just gave you the example. I plant your field, and there's wheat now. If I wouldn't put the kernels in the ground, they were my kernels. Now they germinate, and now you have a field filled, covered with fully grown wheat. Everything is the owner, is the fields. Whoever owns the field, he owns the produce on the field, the grain. What about the sharecropper who planted it without permission? Doesn't make a difference. No. It's not a tangible. Creativity, if you learn it's not a tangible. I've enhanced your ring. But whose ring is it? So the enhancement becomes whoever owns the gold. It's theirs. Good. So when I give you the ring is your ring, fully your ring. But if we say that the financial obligation comes at that moment, so I've given you at this moment something $1,000. She doesn't see I've given her $1,000. It's the benefit of the $1,000 at this moment. That is moment. That's a different level of pleasure than I'm relieving something which accumulated.
Unless he says, I'm marrying you with the benefit of this.
No, we're saying here we say, even though he doesn't verbalize it, it's the equivalent of verbalizing it. When it's something that accumulated, it's not the equivalent of you verbalize unless you verbalize it. I'm not. It's difficult. Ibo Seimo.
So we still haven't constructed a case where we could understand Red Meir and say that she's married.
We just constructed the case. He holds ein l'schir el b'sof, so therefore it's the equivalent of saying hanos mechilas milveh.
That would be the very limited case in which he would say she's married.
What?
That would be.
That is the case. That is the case. Ibo Seim, and now we're going to discuss. Kuli al b'yesh l'schiras mechilas vatsof. B'kadosh milveh ein mukadeshes. Everybody agrees you cannot marry with a debt. And because everybody agrees it's cumulative. This is what we're discussing. The creativity, the change, the enhancement of the material, does that belong to the craftsman, or it only creates a debt for the one who gave the material?
So this is saying now that there is no Tanai argument about.
B'kadosh b'milveh.
So we've thrown that out again.
Again,
So Rav there's still no.
it's his introduction of the concept.
Correct.
Right? Nobody argues. It's not an argument.
Found out what-
Right?
But we do have a Tanai dispute
But it's a different
where
argument.
he made,
But it's
not about a mill.
exactly right, exactly. Rameir is of the opinion that the craftsman, due to his input and his creativity which he put into the material, he acquires an interest in the vessel. Now, what is he marrying with? So now we're no longer talking about money. She says, I'll give you the gold. When you return the bracelet to me, I'll agreeable to be married when you return the bracelet to me. We're not evaluating the value of that. But we know definitely it's minimally a Shabbat Pruta. So I'm giving you back the bracelet. I'm giving you something back, which is mine, which is the craftsman. So therefore it's Makadosh. He's Makadosh with what? With something which he owns. And she understands the gold is her gold. But the improvement, the enhancement, that's his. And she said that. I'll give you gold and you return a bracelet, I'll agreeable to be married to you. And he returns the bracelet. Did he give her something? Of course he gave her something. We don't have to talk about its value. We know it's minimally a Shaveh Pruta. So therefore it's Mukudeshes. But if you hold Einu Mekona B'Shvach Kli, Umar Sove Einu Mekona B'Shvach Kli, that the craftsman enhancement doesn't give you any financial interest. All it does is create a debt. So what is it? Mekadosh B'Milveh. Mekadosh B'Milveh Einu Mukudeshes. We're saying that's the argument here.
No, I understand.
We rule Aloch Einu Mekona B'Shvach Kli. It's
Is it a svara or
Svara, purely Svara. Purely Svara.
I would say that the common therefore see this craftsman that he was a full-time employer of this woman versus an independent. There's
Employee.
There's no difference in this.
It's like, a person is a scientist, he works for a pharmaceutical company, and he discovers what he discovers. The patent belongs to the corporation. But if he goes on his own and he develops something, now it's his. Now he sells it to the pharmaceutical company.
The Chachamim don't differentiate between these.
No, we're talking about here. He's been commissioned. I give you gold. He's not his employee. They're arguing even where he's not the employee. Employee, it's understood.
I'm saying that if he were an employee,
Would not be a
same
machloek.
story.
No. Then definitely it's Einim Mekudeshes.
But the Chachamim see it the same way.
Correct. No, they see it the same way that the non-employee is the equivalent of the employee.
I'm saying that.
Right.
That's what I'm saying. They
Correct.
see these cases as the
Same,
but
correct.
The facts are very different.
It doesn't make a difference.
But they see the same.
Exactly.
That's the difficulty with the Chachamim.
We will continue.
What if the man goes